What's up, guys? Welcome back to Clutch Cousins Sports. I'm Jarvis,
Nico, what's going on, guys?
and today we have a packed episode for you guys. We're going to be talking about sports, esports, and culture. So, we first want to announce, though, that we have set up our social medias with the new logo that you can see right behind Nico's head. We have an Instagram and a Twitter, both at Clutch Cousins Sports, so make sure to follow those for daily content. But other than that, let's get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about our top five quarterbacks heading into the next season, all the uniform changes around the league, Takashi 69 getting out of jail, and some of the news about that. We're going to be talking about the Jake Paul versus KSI fight that's going to come up right after this whole quarantine thing is over. And we're going to talk about Warzone versus Fortnite and some of our thoughts about that. First topic is our top five quarterbacks going into 2020. So, Nico, who do you have at the number five spot?
My number five spot, I have Drew Brees. He's all around great. He's has two weapons now, Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. Constant touchdown machine. Never throws interceptions. He's the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. So he's at my number five spot.
Number five, all right. And my number five spot might shock some people. Some people might have expected it. I don't know, but I got Dak Prescott. I think he's gonna have. I think he's gonna have a great year. He's trying to get that big contract. He's franchise tagged. He wants to show the Cowboys what he's worth. He's got Jerry Jeudy. He's got Amari Cooper. He's got some targets to hit. He's got Zeke to throw to as well. And I think it's gonna be a good year for him. And under Mike McCarthy, I think he's gonna thrive. So who do you got at your number four spot?
Number four spot, I also have Dak for all the reasons you said. Dak's trying to prove himself, and he's already proven that he's been to the playoffs twice, won a playoff game, rookie of the year. So Dak needs this big contract, and I think he'll play good at the number four spot.
Dak, yeah. My number four spot, I haven't really liked him in the past. I'm a big fan of him now because he's on a new team. I got Tom Brady. I think he's gonna have a big season. He's never had an offense like this around him. It's not the same coaching staff, but I still love Bruce Arians as a coach. I love the coaching staff. I think Gronk, OJ Howard, Cameron Bray, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. I think he's gonna have so many weapons to throw to. So I'm really excited about Tom Brady. So who do you got at the number three spot?
Number three spot, I got Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Yes.
He's always in the MVP conversation, even though he doesn't have a lot of talent weapons around him. But he's always in the MVP conversation, and you can always expect him to put up those big numbers and get you wins.
For sure, for sure. At my number three spot, I'm gonna have to go with my guy Lamar Jackson. I think he's due for a big season. Maybe not as good as last season. He's still gonna have a great season though, because last season it was historic for him. Who knows? He might get better. I don't. I think he will improve, but I don't think he'll put up some of the same numbers because I see them running the ball more this year. They added a new rookie running back. They still have Mark Ingram. I see it as Lamar's still going to be great, but they're not going to depend on him as much. So who do you got at that number two spot?
Number two, I also have Tom Brady. Brady is finally on a new team without Bill Belichick, and it's his time to just let the ball fling. He's in a warm weather state. He's got a great offensive line, and he's got so many weapons around him. Tom Brady, only 2 years ago, won the MVP and the Super Bowl. So just imagine what he could do on this new team. I'm super excited for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, and there's been some people they've been questioning Brady. They said he didn't do very good last season. But when you think about it, what weapons did he have around him last season? And they still went 12-4, I think.
And they still were in the playoffs.
Still were in the playoffs. He didn't really have anyone to throw to, and even at his age, he's still an MVP caliber quarterback with the right weapons. So at my number two, my guy, I got Russell Wilson at the number two spot. I think you were saying earlier he doesn't have a lot of weapons. I think Tyler Lockett's going to have another great season. I think DK Metcalf's going to have a breakout season. I think Philip Dorsett's going to be a great wide receiver number three. He's not going to be the best, but he's going to be another reliable target for Wilson to throw to. And Will Dissly's coming back, like we talked about in the last podcast. And I think Will Dissly stays healthy this year. Even if he doesn't, Greg Olson's there. So I think we can expect a big year from him. Now, your number one spot, I have a feeling we might have the same guy for number one.
I think everybody in the world has the same feeling. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, league MVP, thrown 50 touchdowns. He's due for a big year, despite the big year he had last year, but he missed about 4 games. So if he stays healthy all throughout the season, I think they could repeat.
It's Pat Mahomes. I think the Patriots dynasty, it's coming to an end right now. And I think the Chiefs dynasty is what takes off next because
Oh wow,
when you think about it, it's a bold statement. When you think about it, though, if the Chiefs, if they don't get that one offsides penalty against the Patriots 2 years ago, they're in the Super Bowl.
for sure.
They go last year, they win it. That could have been they could have gone to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row if it weren't for one finger being over the line. So when you think about it, they have all the same weapons besides they lost one offensive lineman. That's it. They added the LSU running back. Pat Mahomes will most likely stay healthy this season. He's getting better every season he plays. He's learning more under Andy Reid. He's maturing as a quarterback. He's getting used to the system. I think he already understands the system. But every year is just a constant improvement for him. So I have Patrick Mahomes at number one. I would love to put my boy Russell at number one, but Patrick Mahomes has all the weapons around him. He has the perfect system to thrive in. So
And Mahomes can do anything imaginable. He could throw on one foot. He could throw left-handed. He could throw in the air. He can do anything imaginable. And with all the speed and talent he has around him, he's the greatest right now.
and he can scramble. He can scramble too. When you need him to run, he'll get you that first down. He's a fat. People don't realize how athletic he is as well. He's a baseball player. He's a football player. He's an all-around athletic guy. So that's something that people don't look at too. All right.
Sure.
So next topic for today, we got all the uniform changes around the league. How about we start off with what's your favorite uniform change?
My favorite uniform change is the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Honestly, they went back to the classic old school kind of look with no more decorative details, just big, bold numbers, solid colors, and Tom's going to look good in that new uniform.
I think there was a reason for changing it. I think first of all, they've been getting roasted the past few years for how bad their jerseys are, their uniforms in general. It's weird. I didn't think they were that bad. Like when I heard so many people hating on it, I was a little confused because I was like, I never noticed it. I definitely like the new uniforms better. I also think it's because it's a turning point in the franchise. They're not going to throw 30 interceptions this year. They got a new quarterback, Tom Brady, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback of all time. They got all these new weapons plus the weapons they already had, and I think it's kind of symbolizing a turning point for that franchise.
For sure.
Yeah, and the next uniform I really like, my favorite besides the Bucks, I love the new Chargers uniforms. I think it's simple, bright, bold colors. Yeah, as you can see right there.
Yeah.
I love the light blue. It looks great, and I know a lot of other people are fans of it as well.
I know, and these aren't all the colors right here, but they have a dark navy that just looks absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I
They have
love
a
it.
dark navy and the lightning bolt on the helmets and down the pants. Man, it's a good looking uniform.
Hopefully these new uniforms can attract some fans to the stadium this year, but we'll see. We'll see about that.
We'll see.
But the next uniform I'm loving, jet black, that Falcons uniform. It's looking really nice.
Yeah, it's looking great. The jet black with the visors too, and the big square numbers and the ATL on the front. Brett ATL, man, it's looking good.
I was hearing the NFL is thinking about because you can see on the Chargers uniform the helmet is white and the rest of it is different colors. I was hearing though that the NFL might allow teams to change helmet colors to match with the rest of the uniform,
That would be awesome.
which I think because if could you imagine the Chargers with like a light blue or a navy blue helmet to match that top? That would look nice.
All navy would be awesome.
Yeah, and the next change we got slight change. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't really see why it's necessary. But the Patriots they added the little stripes to their shoulders.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
It's subtle. It's more patriot.
Yeah. I was gonna say it gives it a more patriotic feel.
Patriotic feel, yeah. But overall, it looks about the same.
Yeah, I like it. In my opinion, if you're gonna, hype up a uniform change or if you're gonna change your uniforms, I feel like it should be a big change. I don't really see what the whole meaning was behind just adding the lines. I guess it's a nice little touch, but if I own a team and I'm changing the uniforms, I want to make it big and bold, like the Bucks, like the Chargers, like the Falcons. Something that people really notice.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, are there any other uniform changes you've seen?
So here's the one that people have been most skeptical about when they first saw the new Rams logo. They were really nervous what the uniforms were going to look like. They just came out today. So here are the new Rams uniforms. You can see that new Ram logo on the helmet, the new uniform colors. What do you think about that?
Actually, this is my first time seeing these. I'm looking at it right now. I really like the helmets. I like how the
Yeah,
helmets are matching the blue.
yeah.
The white's looking nice too. I like I was saying the helmets. I really hope the NFL allows for that helmet change because could you imagine a nice white helmet with like blue the blue horns on the side with a
Pretty,
white
pretty
that
crazy.
would look nice. So I really hope the NFL allows that. I'm liking these Rams uniforms. I'm not a big fan of the logo though. What do you think about the new logo?
The logo's a little. I don't like the logo either, but I see what they're trying to do with the logo as the same as on the helmets, and that looks pretty solid on the helmets. But the white too, the all white with the blue helmet, I am not a fan of
Not a
that.
fan of that. I mean, I'm sure they would put a white helmet with it. They're just not allowed to by the NFL. You know, they got to keep
Yeah,
the helmet color. But I would love that. That would look great because I even think about the Seahawks. I love it when we wear our white uniforms or our gray uniforms. It would be awesome to like. I love our navy blue helmets, but to have a white helmet or a wolf gray helmet to go with those, that would look definitely really nice.
with all these uniforms, we're gonna have to wait and see what they look like on the field. But overall, that's kind of what we like
Yeah.
so far.
Overall, right now, it's looking great. All right. So moving on from sports, we're getting into our first culture segment of
Let's go.
all of the podcasts. I've been excited to talk about this one. So our first thing everyone's talking about right now, Takashi 6ix9ine getting out of jail. What are some of your thoughts about him in just in general? What do you think about him?
I mean, the king is back. He that's what he said. He broke the Instagram live record with 2 million Instagram live viewers. He dropped a new music video, which got the most views ever under 24 hours ever. He's under house arrest for 2 years, but he's back. We can expect some music from him. So,
you know, what's crazy about that Instagram live record? I heard it was broken in 6 seconds.
jeez,
Old record held by Tory Lanez at 365,000, broken like that. I was hyped. I tuned in for the live stream. Uh, I I was shocked though when I heard him. He was just admitting to the snitching
yeah,
allegations.
yeah.
He really embraces it. I was like, okay. I mean, some of his reasoning for it, is he said that some of the other gang members and some of his friends that he snitched on, they stole millions of dollars from him. They said that he said that they tried to kill him. They tried to kidnap his mom. They were
He,
they were sleeping with the mother of his kid behind his back. I don't know about all that. I believe it. I'm not 100% sure on it because I don't know him or anything. But if that is all true, do you think it was fair of him to snitch on them, or do you think he should have stuck with the code and not said anything?
I don't know. Apparently, he's under house arrest for 2 years, so hopefully that keeps him safe. But he basically, what I heard him say was he wasn't raised in a gang or by these people. They just brought him up to fame. He's not a part of their gang, so he's fine snitching. If he only gets 2 years left, besides life in prison, he'll snitch. He said.
The thing
So
that confuses me is he's saying this now. He's saying I wasn't part of the gang. They rose me to the fame. They rose me to fame and things. But he really identified, with the Bloods and the
yeah,
gangs there in New York. And maybe he was just doing that to rise to the top.
maybe.
But if you're gonna build your brand off of gang affiliation, and then that's what everyone knows you for,
Yeah,
I think, like, I mean, I'm not in his situation. I don't know if I would have snitched or not. But if you're gonna tie yourselves in with that, and you're gonna talk about gang code, and you're gonna talk about, like he even had verses in his songs about not being a snitch. Maybe you got to stick with that code. But he also said, and what a lot of people said was, we can blame him as much as we want for snitching. We can call him a rat, everything like that. But you don't know what it feels like till you're in that jail, and they're saying, "Hey, you're going to be in here for life." So we don't know what that feels like. But a lot of people, it was surprising. A lot of people said that the judge was telling him he can't rap about gangs, he can't rap about anything related to the case, he can't rap about killing people, because apparently one of the charges he was put in jail for was he was hiring people to kill people for him,
Jesus.
which it's pretty crazy. And there's actually a video of him making a phone call. He's like in an interview, and he stops in the middle of the interview. He knows he's being recorded. And he literally like calls like a hit on someone for someone to get killed. So it's just like, you got to be a little smarter than that. It's kind of crazy. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, it's like it's pretty crazy. But listening to the song Gooba, right after I listened to the live stream. I went listened to it immediately. I was one of those 140 million people that have already listened to it.
Yeah.
But he talks about shooting. He talks about the gang. He rubs it in the face of all the people that were mad at him.
Yeah.
Is that a smart decision on 6ix9ine's part?
The most prominent line to me was "I'll snitch, I don't care." That was basically what he said in one of the lines. And he better hire security. Is all I gotta say. And he better stay in his house for 2 years because I would not want all those gang members coming after me.
I think the most prominent line, the most inspiring line in that whole song that really, really touched me was, "Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? Huh?" I love that one. It speaks to the soul. It shows the kind of genius, the musical genius he is. That he can come up with lyrics like that.
Yeah.
It just shows how talented. It shows how talented this guy is. So,
We'll see what happens.
yeah. The music video was definitely interesting. Let's touch on a few points. I was watching a review, and there's a lot of stuff I didn't realize before. Like, I know people were calling him a rat, but maybe I should have caught on with it. But he puts the umbrella down, the one that's in your background right now, and when he lifts it up, it's a rat face over his. So he's embracing that like rat, that has like I don't know, that's kind of symbolizing him at the time. That people are using to represent him. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we'll see if he continues to use that in the future as like a logo or something. But it was interesting to see that, and then it was interesting to see he had even more jewelry than usual. He had even more drip than usual. So he's feeling confident. He's out. So we'll see if his music career keeps going up. I mean, he's got 6 number one singles. Like, that's insane.
That is true. He has 6 number one singles. I'm worried. I heard he bought four or five cars upon release. I heard he spent $1 million on that shark chain. It was the shark from Finding Nemo. He's spending all this money, and I don't know how much he makes, but I feel like rappers are signed with a label. The label takes half or more.
Yeah.
I just hope he's not spending all his money now, um, to get a lot of attention, just because he's spent millions since he's come out. And I don't know how much he has in the bank account, but I feel like he might be overspending just a little bit. I know a lot of rappers make the mistake of overspending. They have a ton of money, so they just go spend it all. I hope that's not what he's doing, because honestly, if he gets charged again with anything, or if he makes a mistake in one of his music videos, he might not ever be able to make music again. So I think he needs to hold on to the money he has. It's a nice flex by 6ix9ine, but I think he needs to think long term, because this rap thing, it's not going to last forever. So
it's not, yeah.
Yeah.
And even doesn't matter about the music quality. It's about the person. It's like about the clout you get. He basically has clout. It doesn't matter how bad the music is, as long as he has that clout. But when that clout goes away, his music's going to be not as great, and that's what's going to make him suffer in the long run. So
yeah, and it's crazy, his address. He's only been out for he's been showing himself for like a week now. The live stream happened about a week ago, but his address has been leaked twice already by people on Snapchat. People walk by and they recognize. I don't know how people knew it, but some guy Snapchatted his house, and apparently he had to be moved like right away. And then apparently at his second house there was a gate, and you could see all of his cars, and you could tell they were his cars based on the paint job. And somebody Snapchatted that too. And I was watching the video. It didn't seem like they wanted to. It didn't seem like they knew what they were doing, because they were like, "Oh, look at 6ix9ine's cars. It's so crazy. Like, we found his house." It didn't seem like they were purposely trying to leak his address, but I think they really got to think through, like, hey, he's under house arrest right now. There's one of the biggest gangs in the world coming after him. Maybe be a little smarter about it. I feel kind of bad for him. I know he did the snitching. I know he's done other stuff, but to have to just pick up and move, within like after finding out someone leaked your address, that could definitely be frustrating. So
yeah, and in the music video, he also flaunted the ankle bracelet.
Yeah, that was the weirdest flex I've ever seen. I don't even know if it was a flex, but
I don't know. It might have been like, hey, you can't give me him still. So we'll see what happens.
What I'm thinking is I just don't know if it's the smartest thing to rub it into the Blood's face. They're mad at him, and he comes back and he rubs it in their face more. He's probably spending millions on security. But there's thousands of those gang members around the world, so he should be careful. His life is more important than anything at the end of the day, so he's probably protecting that. But enough about 6ix9ine. We're gonna go
Yeah.
on to our next culture slash sports topic.
Here
We're
we
gonna
go.
we're gonna talk about the Logan Paul versus KSI versus Jake Paul beef, the beef that's been going on for years. So I want to start this segment off. Let's start at the beginning, in case some of our viewers don't know about this, and we'll go all the way up to present day.
Sure.
So this all started with KSI. He's a British YouTuber. A lot of you may know him. 20 plus million subscribers versus Joe Weller. He's still pretty popular, around 3-4 million subscribers over in the UK. He's pretty well known. But they had some beef.
Yeah.
They boxed. KSI beat Joe Weller. And then after that, KSI he basically called out the Paul brothers. So, what was your reaction when KSI first called out the Paul brothers back a few
You
years ago?
know, yeah, 2 years ago, I think like everybody else, I was mind blown as YouTubers went from diss tracks to getting physical with boxing fighters,
Yeah,
and I was like, wow. And then when he after he beat Joe Weller, which Joe Weller's pretty big, but not too big, and he called out Logan, I was like, wow, this needs to happen. This will be the biggest event on the internet in forever. Like, and when it finally did happen, man, it was such a great experience, and I think it really boosted their careers more than it hurt it.
for sure, for sure. I know, they so KSI called him out, right? And then there was some contract disputes. KSI was saying Logan wasn't signing the contract. Logan was saying KSI wasn't signing the contract. They finally signed the contract. The fight's in the UK. They train, they train, they train. Logan just had the whole Suicide Forest incident. He's really trying to rebuild his image, bring his brand back up. So he takes this fight, and it's a draw. The last thing everyone expected. I was actually at my friend Brandon's house, and we were watching a group of like 5 guys, and I knew that there were draws in boxing because I had watched some boxing before. But my friends, they were kind of newer to the boxing scene, so they didn't even know you could draw. They didn't know there were ties in boxing. And at the end of the fight, like they're looking at the scorecards. 5 minutes passes by, 10 minutes passes by. Everyone's like, "What's taking so long? What's going on?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I wonder if it's a draw." They have to count up. They're double checking everything. They want to make sure they're right. Is this a draw? And they come out and it's a draw. And the funniest part was that there were some people on both teams. KSI's team, not like the boxing coach or anything. Of course he knows, but like his manager and some of his friends, and even Logan's manager and some of his friends, they didn't know that it could be a tie. This was a shock to everybody. So what were your initial thoughts when you saw it was a draw?
And when I saw it was a draw, I was pretty mind blown. I think the first thing was everybody thought it was an internet event, so everybody thought it had to be rigged. It had to be some kind of mistake. It can't be real. But when everybody realized that this is a real boxing event, real officials, real judges, and then nobody won or lost, I think everybody's instant thought was there's got to be a part two. There's got to be a second fight,
For
and that's
sure.
what ended up happening.
Yeah, and so what happens after that? In case some of you aren't still aware or you're new to this, basically, they draw as we just said, and then everyone's saying KSI versus Logan part two. Like we want to see a winner. Of course, KSI saying, "Oh, I won the fight. I clearly won the fight. Here's why." Logan's like, "Oh no, I won the fight. Here's why." At the end of the day, watching it over, I was actually rooting for Logan. I think it was a draw. At first, I was kind of leaning towards Logan, and then I was leaning towards maybe KSI won, and then watching it like a third time, I was like, that's a draw. Giving my own score for each round. But basically, round two comes. I think both of them take it a little bit more seriously because they have been boxing for a little over a year now. And also, this fight was on DAZN. It was nationally televised. It was on real TV. It was a real streaming service. It wasn't just live streamed on YouTube. You had to pay for this one. You couldn't illegally get it on Twitch like some people were doing.
Yeah.
But it was definitely good to watch. And Logan ended up losing in this fight. Very controversial loss. But the reason he loses is because I think in the fourth round, he gets KSI with a nice uppercut. KSI starts to, fumble around, fall to the ground. But before KSI can fall, Logan wraps his left arm around KSI's neck, gets a second uppercut in. As
Jeez.
KSI falls to the ground, Logan hits the back of his head. So, definitely done by Logan. I think Logan is the better boxer personally. because I've watched boxing. His technique looks better. I think he would have won the fight. At the end of the day, the reason Logan lost, it wasn't KSI beating him. It was Logan beating himself, in my opinion. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree. That was a cheap move by Logan. Honestly, he's even come out after the fight and said, "Yeah, that's the move that probably lost me the fight."
Yeah,
Boxing technique, though, Logan's the bigger athlete. He was a wrestler in high school. He's got more power, but JJ's got a sick right hook, man. He's got so much power in that right hook, and I think JJ towards the end of those last couple rounds, he got Logan frustrated, got Logan tired, and just landed some crucial right hooks.
yeah.
So maybe you could say Logan beat himself. Maybe you could say KSI is a better boxer. But I'm just excited for this next fight.
Yeah. So let's continue with this storyline. But basically, a little bit more about it is if Logan pretty much he loses 2 points, and if you guys don't know boxing, losing 2 points is a lot in boxing. That is a lot. And Logan was mad because he feels like he should have gotten a warning. He felt that if anything, he should have only lost 1 point. When they interviewed the ref afterwards, the ref said, "Hey, I talked to both boxers. I told them what not to do. I gave them their warning backstage." And then Logan said, "Okay, I understand, but 2 points, that seems a bit excessive because the last time 2 points was taken from a boxer was when Mike Tyson actually bit the ear of his opponent." So Logan felt that maybe only 1 point should have been taken away, but at the end of the day, if 1 point's taken away, it's another draw. So do we really want to see another draw? There would have been a part three. So, but at the end of the day, KSI wins. I believe he deserves the win because Logan should have been smarter. Boxing is a physical sport, but it's also a mental sport. And KSI kept his cool. Logan didn't. So this is what happens next. Jake Paul, little brother of Logan Paul, he says, "Hey, KSI, I want to fight you. I want to avenge my brother," because of course Jake's going to side with his brother. He thinks it was a bad call. And KSI basically says, "Hey, you're not worthy to fight me. If you want to fight me, you got to beat my best friend, Anisan Gibb, who's another UK based YouTuber." And so Jake's hesitant. He agrees to it. What did you think when Jake decided to fight Gibb? What did you think about that?
You know, I that makes sense. You got to beat a boxer to get to the champion. Jake wasn't the champion, even though he beat Deji. It wasn't really the same thing as him fighting KSI himself or fighting Logan in that matter. I don't think anyone wanted to see both Paul brothers fight.
Yeah.
So everybody had high expectations for this fight down in Miami. And Gabe was looking good on film before the fight, but I don't know what happened to Gabe during the fight. Jake's instincts took over. I would say Jake is a better technical boxer than his brother is, but uh, he was able to finish Gabe in the first round, and Gabe was in that ring not knowing what hit him.
You know, when I first heard about the Gibb Jake Paul fight, I didn't know what to think because it was my first time hearing about Gibb. I know he did the undercard for the first Logan Paul KSI fight, so I went and watched some of his tape, and I was like, he's not looking too good, But that was also 2 years ago at the time I saw this clip. So I said, maybe he's improved. You never know. And then I saw some of Jake's his most recent sparring footage at the time, and Jake was just on another level. I was surprised because Jake he had fought Deji, KSI's little brother, in the past for an undercard matchup. So I said, dang, Jake is looking good. And then I saw some more Gibb footage. He looked better. He still looked. I think it was the technique. His technique is very different, you could say. I didn't. I fully expected Jake to win. I thought for sure Jake was going to win. I didn't expect it to be first round though. I definitely thought 3 or 4 rounds, and then it'd be a technical knockout. Jake would win. But I think Jake winning in that first round was a real statement to KSI, like, "Hey, I'm not a joke. I'm just as talented or more talented than my brother." Because what no one realizes is Jake fought Deji, right? And then Logan started training for the second fight, and Jake wanted to be an undercard for that fight, but the zone said no. But Jake was still training every day, and no one ever talks about that. So Jake has been training just as long, maybe slightly shorter than Logan has. But when you think about the amount of work he's put in, he's close. He's definitely close in the amount of work he's put in compared to the KSI and Logan. So KSI, he has actually agreed in the past few days to fight Jake now that Jake took out Gibb in 1 round, less than 1 round. And that fight is going to be in Madison Square Garden after quarantine is over. So what do you think just about, because we have these YouTube fights, we have the diss track era, we have the fighting era. What do you think about all this? Because we're having YouTube boxers fighting in Staples Center, fighting in Madison Square Garden. What do you think about this whole trend?
This is pretty big. DAZN is really lifted these YouTubers up as professional boxers. They sign contracts, they wear no headgear. But Madison Square Garden, it only improves the quality of YouTube as people start taking YouTubers as serious content creators and serious people in the media industry. So, I mean, this is going to be a tough one. Like I said, Jake Paul is really technical. KSI is also technical with the right hook. What are your predictions for this fight? What are you thinking?
I've gone with Logan, in every fight, and he let me down both times. I went with Jake in the Gibb fight. He won it for me. And I've always doubted KSI, and KSI always ends up winning. But I think it's different this time. I'm gonna stick with Jake. I think Jake has got this. All right. So KSI's mission is he wants to end the Paul brothers. He's already ended. He hasn't ended Logan, but in boxing terms, he ended Logan. He beat Logan. He wants to take down Jake Paul. He wants to end the Paul mayhem. Because honestly, if he beats Jake, it's going to be embarrassing. Both Paul brothers taken out by one guy, but I think they're very evenly matched, just like Logan and KSI were. But I think the edge that Jake has is that he's still training right now. KSI's taking a break from training, and Jake is doing this for his brother. Jake wants to avenge his brother. He's already said that. We haven't even seen his full potential. He was saying against Gibb he was just warming up. He was feeling out Gibb. It wasn't even his full potential, and he still got a TKO on him. So I think it's a close fight. I think it's going to be one of the best fights we've seen so far in this whole YouTube boxing trend. But I think Jake slightly outperforms because he's motivated to avenge his brother Logan. What are your predictions?
Yeah, Jake's a great fighter. He's got a lot of heart. But I think KSI, man, he's just ruthless. This is what his fourth fight.
Yeah,
KSI should be prepared, and I think KSI is going to land a big right hander. And I don't want to say what round, but I'm Team KSI. I've always been Team KSI. So I'm excited for this fight.
yeah. I both Logan and KSI fights went to the scorecard, which I really wish we could have seen a knockout. That would have been super entertaining.
Man,
Yeah,
that would have made the person a meme. Whoever
yeah,
knocked out would have been a meme.
for sure. And I think this fight, I don't think it goes to the scorecard. I think someone ends up getting knocked out before the end of the sixth round.
Wow.
I think even if it's not a knockout, I think it could be a technical knockout. The ref just they wave it off. Because honestly, in that one Logan KSI fight, if Logan gets that uppercut on KSI and then he doesn't hold him or hit him in the back of the head, he keeps punching though, legal hits, I think it's definitely hard for KSI to come up from that punch. So if Jake lands a punch like that on KSI, which I think he can, I think he'll get that win. But enough about this YouTube boxing drama. We'll get back to it when there's more updates. When quarantine's over. Let's get to the esports segment of today. So we're going to be comparing Call of Duty Modern Warfare's Warzone versus Fortnite Battle Royale. So I want to hear first, which one do you like better? You've played both. Which one do you prefer?
I prefer Warzone. When Fortnite first started out, I was a big Fortnite guy. I think the Fortnite took the world by storm, honestly.
Yeah.
And but the problem is now it's gotten too competitive. You find too many tryhards or sweats as they call them in games, and you can't compete. You can't do what they can do. And Warzone kind of gives you that competitive uh, third person balance as well, and allows you to also play as teams. And it's that good old Call of Duty. So yeah, I'm a Warzone guy for sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking? I think you're right. Everyone was a Fortnite guy when it first came out. I honestly think Fortnite took esports to the next level. They were always there. They were kind of below. They were rising. They were getting more popular. But Fortnite is what made gaming like. Fortnite made video game players, pro esports players. They made them household names: Ninja, Tfue, Mongrel, Doctor Lupo, Tim the Tatman. They made people like that no one had really ever heard of unless you're in the gaming scene. Everyone's talking about them. I also think Warzone is a direct result of Fortnite. Everyone's trying to compete with Fortnite. People say the game is dying. It's still one of the most popular games in the world. But I mean, you see it. Fortnite comes out, Battlefield releases a battle royale. Call of Duty releases two battle royales. Warzone is their second. They had Blackout. Now they have Warzone. I Apex Legends trying to compete. I definitely think Warzone has been the best competition for Fortnite, just because I know Apex made their game free, but Call of Duty is such a known franchise, and they were smart. They made their game free, just like Fortnite is, which I think is another part of the success. But speaking about those two games,
For sure.
what two games?
Yeah,
Some of
I
your
agree.
yeah
Cash and to play the cash, and you can play duos, trios, and the gulag too. It gives you an opportunity to come back. You
yeah
play the gulag, you're back in, you got to collect more loot, and you're back with your team. But I think, like you said, Fortnite really allowed people to become household names. But Call of Duty has been around in the e-sporting community for about 15 years now, and people like FaZe and gaming companies like that have really got big off Call of Duty. Now that it's back, just another option besides Fortnite, the gaming community.
for sure. Because I also feel I'm a Fortnite fan. I used to play it a lot, but what I got to say about it is honestly, it took the world by such like storm and such. It was such a shocker when it came out. It was so popular. I feel like that there wasn't much else to play. Like Fortnite was so fun at the time that every other game kind of felt kind of boring almost, or just not as entertaining. But then Warzone comes out, and it's the Call of Duty we know, Modern Warfare, one of the best Call of Duties to come out in the past few years, in my opinion. And then you can play squads with the boys, but instead of Fortnite, it's Call of Duty now, and it's not as sweaty because the thing about Fortnite, you could have great aim, you could have some great loot that you find throughout the game, but you shoot at someone, and if they're a master builder and they build a hotel up to the sky, it's like, what are you going to do? You
Yeah,
know?
you're pretty much done at that point. And Warzone gives you the ability to be competitive at the game by collecting loot and shooting with your aim, and
Yeah.
not having to build and say, hey, this person's on keyboard, but I'm on controller. It's not a fair advantage. On Warzone, you don't have that.
Yeah. And the thing about Warzone, it's like, you just got to practice your aim and your movement. That's it. And those things, they don't take that much practice. Playing Call of Duty for a week, if you play for a week, you'll get pretty good. Your aim will get better naturally. And that happens in every game. But the thing about Fortnite that makes it different is the building mechanic. That's not something that takes a week and you're just a master builder. That's if some of the best Fortnite players in the world, they spend hours and hours every day working on their building. So I think that's where the cutoff is. Fortnite's a great game and all, but you got Warzone where you don't have to spend hours and hours practicing. You can just play with your friends for fun and naturally get better, and you don't have to worry about a whole other mechanic that people have mastered and you haven't.
I fully agree with that.
So
Yeah, I think Fortnite might be moving towards more competitive gameplay only. No more just hop in there for fun with your squad. It might just be more competitive for tournaments. And Call of Duty Warzone might just be that new outlet where guys can go and play fun.
yeah, and that's the weird thing because Call of Duty, for the longest time in the esports community was known as the competitive game, that
Yeah,
people got
yeah,
good at. And Fortnite at first was, it was meant for like kids. It was cartoony. It was fun. You just play with the squad. And now they've kind of flipped because everyone thought that they wanted that. They wanted that competitive atmosphere and things like that. But I think Fortnite, with that competitive atmosphere, they took it to the next level where it's like even playing casually doesn't feel casual anymore. It feels like, you're playing a tournament. And I
yeah,
think Call of Duty noticed that and they're like, hey, let's make a game where when you die, you have a 50-50 chance of coming back.
yeah.
You can buy people back I think more than one time, I'm pretty sure. As long and it's an overall better experience because rather than in Fortnite where if you die, they have added reboot bans to the game, but in Call of Duty, you can come back multiple times, and I think that's what makes the game so fun. Is that even when you die, you're not out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. I think we both say Call of Duty Warzone is the new game to play, and Fortnite. We'll have to see how long it lasts, but
yeah.
it had its grip of the world for about 2 years there, but now, like we said, I think Warzone might be taking over.
The only bad thing I really got to say about Warzone, I enjoy every other aspect of it. The only two things I don't like about it. I wish it was a little bit more colorful because I feel like sometimes it's kind of hard to see the enemies. They blend in with everything else.
Yeah,
But I guess that it makes the game more realistic. I just wish it was just a little bit more colorful, just because I feel like it's dark at times. And the second thing is, I just feel like people camp a lot in Warzone, because in Fortnite you can build cover wherever you want, but in Call of Duty you can't. And if you're out in the open, you're a big target because there's buildings everywhere. There's people ready to shoot you. So the only thing about Warzone, I wish the map. I feel like there's so many buildings and places to hide in that it calls for a lot of camping. So I
Yeah.
hope that they can maybe rework the map through the next few updates, in the next few months, where there's still hiding spots, because that's definitely realistic. But I also hope they make it so that people don't hide as much. I hope people are out in the open fighting each other, taking natural cover, not just hiding inside of buildings.
I definitely agree with you because
Yeah,
when you get down to those final circles and you can't find people because they're camping, and then you get taken out by those campers,
yeah.
that's one of the worst experiences in the world,
It
man.
definitely sucks, when you spend that whole game looting, killing people, and then there's somebody hiding in a building, and you walk in, and they're already aiming in on you, and you're dead within half a second. That's my
Yep.
only criticism, besides the colors in the game. But everything about it I love. I feel like it's a more intense experience than Fortnite is, because it's just, at the end of the game, there's so many
Mm-hmm.
people packed into the circle. There's people all around you. It's definitely more intense and a more realistic feel for a battle royale. So
For sure.
yeah. But I think we covered all the topics today. I hope you guys liked us talking about sports, culture, and esports all in one episode. If you guys like that, let us know. If you guys want us to break it up into separate episodes, we can do that too. Just let us know in the comments, or DM us on Instagram, comment on one of our posts. Any way you can reach out to us, do it. Any things we can improve. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.